that. Turn us down. Hello.
Hey.
I swear it was summertime last winter. Riding round, smoking weed, sunny days after Christmas. Dark signs start to unwind. Suddenly, she's not so shy. I forget her lies, though I can't remember why. She said something about loving and suffering. Trying to change my mind, like it's yours to decide. Dark side.
Yo.
Cool. Hey.
Hey. Welcome to Local Riffs,
Thanks.
Season 2, Episode 23. We're here with Mars and Other Planets from New Orleans.
Hey.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, we're live streaming. That's your latest single, right?
That is our latest single, yeah.
Dark Signs.
Yes. So we're working on our second album, and we wanted to release something that's like our current sound, because we kind of started off as more of a country folk band. And so we wanted to put something out like as soon as possible that sounds like the sound, closer to the sound that you hear live. So we're still working on the rest of the album, truthfully, but we wanted to release that shit.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's good to have y'all.
Thanks.
Saw y'all a couple weeks ago. Y'all fucking rocked it at the GOAT. My girlfriend fell in love with y'all's sound. I mean, she has
Aw.
been cooking and been sharing it like to her people and stuff. I guess it's a good style. I like how it kind of got like an indie kind of feel to it, a little more edgier, I guess, than other stuff that's out there right now. It's original also. I like it. Love it. Y'all did a very good show at the GOAT. Y'all was really had the energy.
Thank you.
Y'all's
Yeah.
guitar player is insane. We talked a little while after the the performance and stuff, and I was just blown away how the sound that y'all sounded really great. I think Matt has a good ear for keeping that sound going in the GOAT. Yeah, we'll start off. If you want, you can just introduce yourselves and from left to right, and just tell us what you do in the band.
I'm Jade, and I play the drums.
I'm Marissa, and I front the band, write the songs, most of them. Jade also writes some songs and is a founding member.
I'm Chris. I'm just here to do whatever I'm required to do.
He plays bass right now, but might switch to lead guitar.
So I didn't answer the question.
And he's also a producer. Sorry, am I talking for everyone?
No, you should talk.
He's producing and engineering the album. So
Contributions all around. That's
Yeah.
all that matters. I guess we can get into talking about that new album that y'all have in the process and everything. And you mentioned something about given your current sound and everything. What sparked y'all to change to that more harder or edgier sound?
I feel like that's just kind of like naturally how we progress. Like we went through some member changes, like especially like in the beginning, and just the people that we ended up with kind of went towards a less folky sound.
Yeah.
It's just kind of naturally what transpired, I think, when we all linked up.
Yeah, I think so. I think like that's what was my vision, but I wasn't really sure how to get there. Like when I first started the band, I was only playing acoustic guitar and singing like before that solo. So I was always kind of put into a folk category because that's how I was playing my songs. And then the first band, the first members, they were like, yeah, more into country folk. That was their style. And so that's what they brought. But I kept feeling like I was being like put in a folk or box that like wasn't really it. So I agree with Jay that like it kind of happened naturally because that's like feels more true to us, I think, and what feels good and it's fun to play. I think it's a lot more fun to play live when you're playing rock and roll compared to folk music because you can just really like
you really
let
get into it.
loose.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to ask y'all how y'all come up with the name of the band also, because it's very interesting. I like the planet Mars, and to include the other planets is also cool too. Not specifically, but how'd y'all come up with the name of the band?
So Mars is my best friend calls me Mars, and originally I wanted to make Mars and Other Planets the name of my first album, like before I had the band, because it was like me and like all these other big people in my life. That's what the songs are about. But then once I started playing with other people, it became more like Mars and other contributors. So, yeah. And then I just like wanted to be a little bit more original than doing like Mars and the something. So that's why it's just Mars and Other Planets, but everyone likes to say Mars and the Other Planets.
Yeah, I don't know if I think I might have seen that actually also somewhere. That's kind of what I was asking because
Oh, yeah.
It does happen.
It happens.
well, I like it just and Other Planets, you know.
Thank
So how do y'all how long have y'all been a band as current, I guess? And is that pretty much the lineup that y'all are going to stick with for a while, or are y'all pleased with what y'all got going on now?
Yes, it's been definitely like I don't know. That's one thing that we kind of just, Jade and I were started the band with two other people, and then like the other two people left because of like I said, they were just into a different style of music than what we were going for, I guess. Long story short. And I forgot the question. Stoner brain.
I think I did too.
Oh, how long have we been?
Yeah,
a
how long
band?
you been?
Okay, so then, yeah, I was talking about this with Jade yesterday. Like, we could have been like, or maybe it was you. We could have been like, okay, we don't have members. Like, let's pause and not book gigs and like figure our shit out. But instead, we were kind of just like, let's keep going. And like, so we had a lot of different people fill in or try out, and we played with different people. But like, we never wanted to like stop gigging and wait till we found the right people. We wanted to like keep trying. So right now, yeah, I think we're in a good spot. Our lead guitar player isn't here, but yeah. I mean, we're still always experimenting. I think that like Chris plays bass right now, but we're gonna try switching where Chris will be on lead guitar and Sky will play bass, just because like I don't know. I always just like want to see if we can reach as close to like the vision as possible, and so I'm always looking for
yeah,
change.
I mean, and experiment with those, and I mean, you might be able to tackle that true sound that y'all are looking for. I know I was in a couple bands, and we would like just like kind of like play musical chairs just to see which sounded the best, or what was the most what worked the best. Really not sounded the best, but I see a lot of bands, especially, directly in New Orleans and stuff, and I see them like they'll play in one band and then they'll go to another band, and like I know like multiple musicians that are like in like 4 or 5 different fucking bands. I'm like, how do they remember all of that? And most of them all are different kind of genres, I guess you would say, but definitely have different sounds, and they might even play different instruments than they do in the the bands that their other bands. I guess, you know, in New Orleans, especially, you know, I guess putting yourself in a genre box or whatever is kind of limiting your abilities in New Orleans because of the versatility of all bands and musicians that's out there. I think y'all definitely have that New Orleans sound or Southern sound, even if it's if somebody does. I mean, I don't know really folk, or to me, it's like an indie rock kind of thing, which I guess folk kind of blends in there, also. Um, but like y'all, that song right there, it's even when seeing y'all live, I could tell that the edge that y'all want to like present for the music and for the shows and stuff, because y'all's performance was very great. um in New Orleans, how do y'all like see the music scene, with y'all doing shows? um is it I guess fits y'all's style and way of wanting to play, or like is it real comparable to y'all's style of music, the shows that y'all book or whatever? I don't know.
In New Orleans, we're a punk band.
That's who we hang out with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause-
I mean, I
no,
don't know. We keep getting asked like to play with punk bands, even though we're not
Wait.
really a punk band.
well, y'all did the the skate park show. That was
Yeah.
that was a whole
That was-
bunch of mixed different kind of bands that day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a punk lineup, but it was pretty diverse, genre wise. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we don't really fit quite a specific genre, and that's kind of what we're going for. Or you look like you're about to say something.
I just feel like in New Orleans, there's a bunch of like the local scene is like there's a lot of different sounding bands that there's still like that community and like camaraderie there, even though like different styles are being played.
And you do see a lot of mixed bills and stuff. I mean, hell, like tonight at Siberia with Bullshit Machine, that's they're to me they're along the lines, and I don't want to give it like a negative connotation because I love them, but it's just like a noise band that just and you're right. I mean, I'll see a lot of mixed bills, and it'll be like folk or indie or like just enough hard rock, and then next thing you know, it's like a soothing atmospheric kind of music, and all in the same night. And like last night, I had to hit the rap, rock, and EDM in one night, and believe it or not, it was. At some point, it was still all sounding the same. I was like, "Shit, it's like all from New Orleans stuff," And it's just like a style, like a kind of like a roots kind of thing for musicians that do play down in the area. Um, and how many shows have y'all done? Like lots.
Okay, so it's almost a year. I keep reminding Jade that next month is the 1 year anniversary of Mars and Other Planets.
Yay!
We've played like 2 or 3 shows per month since January of this year, I guess.
That's really good.
We formed in October, and then our first show was December 30th of last year, and then we just So whoever wants to do that math, 2 to 3 shows times 10.
It's 2030.
Thanks.
That was easy. Sorry.
20 to 30 shows. And the sound has evolved a lot. We used to play a lot more with Paul Faith, who is a really good harmonica player, among other things.
Where do y'all seem to play at the most? I mean, do y'all just go around? I mean, have y'all been outside of New Orleans playing shows or?
Not really yet. We played one show in Lafayette. We're gonna play a show in Lake Charles this month, the 21st.
I think that's the first time I've heard that name, Lake Charles, on any on any of the podcasts with people. Because as a matter of fact, I was talking about one time. I think it was me and Mo from Tales from the Riff. We was talking about a Lake Charles scene. He was mentioning something. I was like, dude, I don't even see nothing in Lake Charles. But
There's really not a scene out there.
yeah. Shout out Lake Charles.
It's not really happening.
She's
That's where I'm
there.
from. I can say that.
Okay, cool.
And then next month we're gonna play a couple of shows in New York. I'm from New York, and
Yeah, that's cool.
we
Yeah.
have some connections there, so we're gonna try to do that. But otherwise, we just play at the Goat like every day. I love the Goat.
I love, yeah,
I do too.
that's probably my second or third favorite place that I've been to, actually in the South, just because I just like it. It's got nice cold air conditioning and the sound's always good there. So, and it's real minimal there too to sound so good. Chris, they had mentioned something about the producing and stuff. How do you approach that? And being a musician also, what's your tactics, man? Is just by sound, or you just
Yeah,
got
man,
this?
I've been producing and engineering as long as I've been an artist. So since I was like 13, I've been learning how to record ever since then. But I worked in a few studios, and this current studio I'm in is really sweet. And so I get to play with a lot of different things. I get to try different stuff out in there. Marissa's very open minded, so it's easy to work with her. As far as an approach goes to recording the album, that's it's a very individual approach for every album. So this one, she said we came from a country folk kind of sound, and we're trying to make a rock sounding album. So like there's a lot of trying to find how far rock to go and how much to stay kind of where it was to keep the sound, I don't know, whole. But it's hard to say what the singular answer is to that, but it's definitely coming together, and it's been an interesting process, and something I haven't recorded an album like this before since when I was recording my own albums. I've recorded a bunch of other bands before, but not with this much, I don't know, tempo changes, chord progression changes, that it's and the tone shifts a lot, so it's not like a punk song. You're gonna have the same guitar tone from beginning to end of the song. We're changing guitar tones every few bars, so it's definitely interesting to say the least. But it's also like that's why I love doing this. That's why I love recording music. Is I get to work with people
Like challenging the things changing up and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, and just making interesting sounding music. Like I like making music that sounds different from what everybody else is doing. So as a producer, I'm not trying to make music sound like other stuff. And I'll take references and record to references, but like I'm still trying to bring the authenticity and the uniqueness of the artist out in the music.
When I was recording Fucked in the Head, they wanted to keep the the demo-esque kind of recording, and man, that was harder than fucking getting clean, tones and all that stuff. I'm like, shit, man. I mean, you want it to sound good and still sound like a demo, but that's what you want as the recording.
Right.
And so I'm kind of working on that still, but it's definitely a challenge, especially trying to like bring a vision that the band wants, and just from my capabilities. I mean, I'm not some kind of engineer or anything. I just like fucking around with it and just seeing what I can do. But
Sure.
I could only imagine like having the task of recording and doing that regularly and professionally, and so kudos to you. I can't wait to hear the album and your work. What is some influences that has influenced the style of the band from then and now? I'm sure y'all all have different kind of influences. Your drum playing, by the way, is very, very tight.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, the other night.
Let me start with your influences.
I mean, I like learned how to play drums in like school band, and in middle school, and that's also when I got my first drum set at home. And so really like most of my like drum influences are just drummers that I was listening to in that period of my life. So the dude from Me Without You was a big one. The drummer from Modest Mouse. I don't know any of these people's names because I don't know, consume music that way. But Interpol, David Bazan. I think those are like the main bands that I didn't like model my sound after them. I just grew up like playing that music, and so I think it just kind of comes through in the way that I play.
Seems like you're a real pocket player. Like you like to.
Yeah, I like to sit back
Mm-hmm.
and not be annoying or like the star of the show. Yeah, that's boring.
It's real. It's real. I like it because it's just it's real accented on every hit. I'm just going off of seeing the live performance. It was real minimal, but it was really effective the whole time. You
Yeah,
know?
and I like to play like my kit. I only play with 3 drums, but I feel like it's like it. Whenever you're like limit yourself like that, it creates a whole lot of room for being creative. Because like whenever you have like a whole bunch of options in front of you, then it's like I have like decision paralysis. So I like to just like stick to the basics and like worry more about like what am I actually playing and like what is it doing for the song.
It was real clean. And your guitar playing matches it. Also, I like how just to go back to the drums, like it lets the other instruments breathe a lot. And I notice in a lot of other bands, the drums can be overwhelming, and it's kind of like sucks away from the just the individuals, especially having a guitar player and a singer fronting the band, and it kind of, I don't know, it just accents the rest of the instruments when you just sit there and keep it minimal and keep it in the pocket and stuff. A little ride, a little bell. I like that.
That's my goal. So thanks for noticing.
Yeah, she does a lot too to interact with the vocals, which I think is cool. Like a lot that just builds up to the vocals when the vocals need to be really prominent. And then little things.
I
I'm
think-
like, oh wow, you actually know every lyric of the song.
Yeah, I think that like kind of comes from like playing a lot of classical music and just like wind band music and stuff, and like following a director. So that's like really, I don't like to like, I know the drummer is like the tempo keeper, but really I'm like listening to everything around me, and I'm just trying to play like what I hear.
I think minimizing the fills on drums has a lot to do with it. I mean, you can have a fill and not have the fucking 40 beat roll in, with the China getting murdered.
To me, a fill can be just like lifting your foot off the hi-hat.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. How is it singing and playing? Because your voice definitely pushes through the mix. It's like a real powerful kind of voice. I don't know. You was screaming kind of loud. I mean, it was really good. But I've tried to sing and play, and I get lost. I can't. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think like with rhythm guitar, it actually is kind of helpful because it keeps me like, I don't know, it keeps me like in time vocally and playing guitar when I play them at the same time. I also have discovered like when I write, I'm writing with the guitar and the vocals, and then naturally I like write in a way that they go together. Like, yeah, it like matches the way that I'm singing, so I kind of need it. I also like, I think that there have been some times now where I like stop playing and just leave the guitar playing to the lead guitarist and just sing. And that's a lot of fun because then I can just like take the mic and do whatever the fuck. And it's fun in terms of like the performance. But I don't really like to like release that control that I have with the guitar of like guiding the song. So yeah, I've thought about like, I think that ideally I would want to have a 3-piece band. Just because I want the challenge of like being able to hold down the fort with one guitar that I'm playing. So,
and we're not gonna elude the question also of what your influences was, or did we?
I was trying to avoid it.
Nope.
Well, I think in terms of like overall like ethos, like a lot of female fronted rock. So like Metric, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, the Pretty Reckless. Those are like my like inspirations of like fronting a band. I don't know if they're similar in sound musically at all. But I also like listen to music most of my life not as a musician. I don't have a lot of formal music training, so like I feel like the way I've written is like what I've absorbed, and I've never been like, oh, well, I started to do it more now, but like most of my writing, I've never been like, oh, that's cool what this band does and that song, I want to try it. It's because I wasn't listening for those things. I was just experiencing the whole song. as opposed to like the individual instrumentation. So therefore, I feel like it's hard. That's why it's hard for me to identify like direct influences. It's sort of just like I've listened to a lot of rock and country, and like post rock music with a lot of dynamics, but it's been sort of like unintentional influence, I guess.
Just like just sucking it up like a sponge,
Yeah.
just from what you hear. Chris, I haven't had a chance, I don't think, to hear or see you play, but I mean,
Yeah, it's been been pretty much since before COVID that I was like really going hard with my own band. 35 PSI was the band that I was about 7 years pretty consistently playing shows, going out of town and stuff, and recorded 4 albums. So that was all kind of led me to leaving for a few years, and then came back and then met these fine folks, and yeah, it just all kind of started happening. But my influences musically are more like I grew up listening to Green Day, so like that's like where my punk influences come from. But then I got really into Backstreet Boys, and I really love pop music.
that's a fucking interesting
and
twist.
And then
me.
from pop music, I got really into funk music and really into like old 70s rock music, analog rock specifically, and anything that was happening before computers pretty much. I got like really into the sounds of instruments and amps, and I started buying a bunch of amps and guitars. I feel like we're kindred spirits in that in that sense. But I love gear, big gear head, and I love making different kinds of music. So it's just like if we can put genres together, break them apart, figure out how we can make something new sounding, it was always the goal.
Yeah, I like that, because that's kind of, I mean, you almost had me like in some kind of, tailspin just now, because I think that's what drove me to, do what I'm doing is now, or even then when I played music and stuff, is like, searching for a different tone. It kind of like leads to different kinds of styles of music and stuff like that. I don't know. Making music is beautiful. It can be very creative, and when I hear like bands, because that was the first time I seen y'all live, and I've listened to y'all a few times before. Finding something that doesn't sound like other bands that I've seen as far as locally or anything like that, it just like kind of, it inspires me to like out when I saw y'all that night, I was like, man, I was like, I could probably write a song like this. But it was just, it was just new to me, or something that I haven't been used to seeing or listening to as often as other genres, I guess. Which here lately I've been kind of like dialing back on the core kind of metal or rock or whatever, and kind of getting like even pop and stuff like that. I mean, I've written a lot of songs to Alicia Keys kind of melodies, things, and I mean, they turn out to be heavy metal songs, but
Cool.
yeah, but it's just weird. And like in listening to y'all stuff and seeing y'all live and perform, it kind of like I don't know, it should motivate other musicians to kind of be versatile in those kinds of ways, because I do see a lot of acts that follow trends, and they're really not themselves, or I don't want to say original, because obviously cookie cutter, I hear that term a lot, can be prominent in a music scene. But I mean, and going back to the New Orleans, or just the Louisiana scene, or the Southern music scene, it could be easy to, I guess, get caught up in the same old thing. And there is a lot of bands that do sound the same, but I don't know, in our area, I think there's a lot of bands that don't sound nothing alike. And like we was mentioning earlier about the mixed bills and stuff like that, y'all definitely have a different sound. That I'm trying to think of a band that would be
You can't.
wouldn't be a mixed bill, like you said, the punk rock. I was like, oh no, they're not punk rock band.
But that's like, I enjoy that so much because we can play on punk bills, and like, it's funny because like I feel like the audience that likes us at punk shows is like they really do like catchy poppy music, but they don't want to admit it, so they go to punk shows, but like they're really into our shit, which is like kind of. I think that's like generally our approach. It's like catchy and kind of poppy, but like lots of unexpected shifts and an edge. But anyway, with all that, I feel like we could play with punk bands, but then we can also play with like singer-songwriters, backing band kind of. We played with Lila DePaul. She's great, and her band, and I feel like the audiences who go to that enjoy our stuff too. So it's cool to be able to fit into different like sub scenes.
Sub scenes. That is. We're gonna, me and James of Dead Set, and he's a bass player in Fucked in the Head. We're gonna start doing some episodes, and I think that's what the segment's gonna be, sub scenes, because we got a lot to say about some of that shit. But I don't want to seem like I'm like running out of shit to talk about or anything. I mean, usually I'm just like, I don't know, flaming with the conversation and stuff. I'm like, oh, let's go to the next question. I don't really like doing that, but I will ask for pizza toppings before I forget. But we're gonna go through some more stuff, and just kind of relaxing and shit. And I mean, I'm having a blast, with talking with y'all, and I'm really glad that y'all decided to come through. I think we spoke at what was that, was it Carrollton Station? It saw y'all. That was right after the pause interview, actually, and I think I mentioned to y'all that they ran into the fucking ditch. So
Yeah. I appreciate the pause so much and kind of credit them for like helping us get into the punk and like more rock scene. Like that, Colin, who fronts the pause, like that. He was like, I know that's what you're going for. Like, come be on this bill with us. And like before that, we really were playing with singer-songwriters, which was like I said, where I had started, and no shade, but like, yeah, we wanted to expand. So I appreciated Colin for that.
a lot of that was like folk music or something with the singer songwriters, or
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, like roots, rock, folk, just yeah.
Yeah, but we wanted to expand our horizons.
What are some local bands, since we brought up the pause? What are some local bands, that has impacted y'all? I mean, is the pause the only one?
Well, we recently discovered Gatsu, which was Chris and I really liked. They played at that Parasite show you went to. I think it was just kind of like right place, right time, because I recently like got back into like a sludge metal phase, and then I saw them and I was like, Lord, I really like them.
Yeah, I saw them at a house party a while back too, and they fucking that fucking house was it was a slaughter fest in there, but it was in somebody's living room. It was pretty cool though. I think their bass player either stopped playing in the band, because there's usually a 3-piece. There was only a 2-piece that day.
Oh yeah, they tried to poach Chris. Just kidding.
There's some good guys. They got they're younger, I guess, and they got a good sound too.
Yeah, that's something I don't know we keep running into. Like we're 30. Oh, I'm 31 now. Shit.
Congrats.
32.
You made
But
it.
anyway, we I don't know, I keep accidentally discovering that these bands we're playing with are like college students. I'm like, okay, rock on.
I've seen it a lot. Amazingly, usually I'm like one of the oldest people at the fucking shows, so that's 21 plus. I'm like, okay, man, it's like the range is like 25 and 30. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. But the people usually my age, the older people, sometimes their shows are so fucking boring. I'm like, oh my god, man, y'all pick up the pace or something, But yeah, I mean, that's the only bands that y'all, like over, I guess, in the New Orleans area. I mean,
No, I mean I
was gonna say Jade looks like she's ready to. Oh,
I feel like I'm drawing. Every band that we've ever played with, honestly, like I've had a good time. Just listening to, there's just so much different music out there. I don't know. Whisper Party. Yeah, we played with Collections a few times. They're cool dudes, and their music's really fun.
Yeah, they've been on the show. I think there was. I think it was one for New Salem, but then Collections came on also, and I just saw them not too long ago at the Dollar Spot, and did some photos and stuff. I like their music too.
I have some other bands to shout out that got me here that, I feel like got me into the same scene that now it looks totally different from 5 years ago. It is a bunch of college bands, but like back then it was a bunch of college bands and they're not there anymore. Some of them are. So like there's a band I used to play bass in called Cicada. They're a metal band, and Trey is my cousin. He also has,
cool.
He has another band called Cemetery Frost. They're then there's Brat is the other. They're really doing it big right now. It's Brenner and Elizabeth, and also another member of Cicada, Ian Hennessy. He plays drums for that band, and he also for Brat he plays bass. But all of those musicians were very influential for me as expanding into a heavier sound, because I came from, like I was saying, more of like a punk and pop background, and then really into funk and rap music. So it was like hard for me to hear the really loud metal stuff. And then I walked down the hall one day, they're in the same practice space as us, and walked down the hall and I heard them jamming. They had never been playing music like that before in that room, and I just knocked on the door, walked in and sat down and watched them for like an hour. And then eventually, like a week later, I asked them if I could play with them, and they're like, yeah, we need a bass player. So like that kind of community too was really influential for me. Just like people being like, oh yeah, you can play in my band. I had only ever played in one band before, and like you were saying before, so many people that play in like 4 or 5 bands. I finally got a taste of like what that looked like, and that was, it's cool that the people in this city are so welcoming to having other musicians come and play, because it could very well be standoffish and like, no, this is our band.
Yeah.
This is our sound. This is how we want to do things.
I love them guys all of them that you named. I went into Lafayette last weekend and checked out Brat just to support the homies and shit, and they were real, I guess, hugging. I don't know what word I'm looking for there, but instantly it was like, it's the same as always see them guys around, and Trey's a really good guy. He always like blows my head up with oh man, what you're doing is all. I'm like, shh. I was like, no man, let's get back to the riffs, bro. Your fucking riffs is insane. He's not in Totem no more, is he?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he's focused a little more on the Cemetery Frost thing, but that's some good names, because those are some of my favorite bands like of all time. Brat has to be like number 2 for me, and I've kind of got off of the mainstream kind of listening to music ever since I've been doing local riffs thing, because it just seems like I don't know, sometimes it's a wash, man. I can go to these shows in New Orleans or anywhere really, that's kind of underground, and some unsigned bands, I guess you would say. It kind of brings a little more interest for me to hear new stuff instead of things that sound the same, or radio rock, or like I tell people that, and they're like, man, you like Slipknot, and I don't listen. I donated all of my mainstream band shirts to the Dollar Spot. Like I don't have none. All of them's either unsigned or underground, musicians or bands that I've got like fucking 80 shirts in there of local bands and shit like that. But I don't know, it just like Cemetery Frost is definitely in my top 10, just because of they got a southern feel to death metal instead of it just being run of the mill. And Brat, they have like a hardcore thing. Collections, y'all have like y'all's own kind of southern thing going on that doesn't really I mean, it can be a set apart from any other kind of edgy rock, or I was I was trying to like compare y'all to like some mainstream kind of, like to see who y'all would sound like, but it's difficult to do that. I mean, because I would be like honestly, it was like when I saw y'all live, I was like almost like an Alanis Morissette kind of thing at first, and I was like, hold on a second, nah.
So I
was like, they're way tougher.
I don't understand.
No.
Like
Alanis Morissette. Sorry.
I just don't hear it. Like I've never listened to Alanis Morissette, because I tried, and like after 45 seconds, but
I was closer to Jewel, believe it or not, than Alanis Morissette, and it was even then, it's just and like I said, it has a southern feel to it, and maybe it's just me kind of like I don't know, being hard headed because like I said, I'm just totally not interested in mainstream shit, man. And kudos to the people that get, shows with the bands that's coming in tour, on tour and stuff like that, because it gives them exposure. But usually when I go to a show and if it's like a big headliner and stuff like that, I'm just there to see the local acts,
That's awesome. I appreciate you.
Oh, I mean, that's just I don't know, man. A lot of people don't. I want to keep saying a lot of people, but it's hard for me to find like when I go out to the scene and go to shows and shit and like people there to support the scene, but it's more so of they're just getting drunk and hanging out with the pals and shit, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, they'll go to the mainstream shows for $30, $40 a ticket, and then like to me they got better quality music, because it's more feeling, it's more original, for $10 right down the street. And I'd rather give that support, to the locals, kind of give them that, I don't know, it would inspire me to push more to do, I guess, more shows or, play more music or write more music instead of, not having anybody at the show. And, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm rambling now. I don't know, these headphones sound weird. I'm used to having those on. So I feel like it's like an empty space in here. Oh, I said, yo, you got my bag? What the hell? Let me get back to these questions because I do want to. Oh yeah, the pizza topping question. Go.
I'm a basic pepperoni kind of gal.
Good choice.
I like mushrooms on my pizza. Yeah.
And I swear, pepperoni and mushrooms my favorite.
Okay,
pizza.
good.
It's
No,
Wait, really?
wild.
no pineapple this time,
Yeah,
guys.
no
Holy
pineapple.
smokes! We've been getting a lot of that lately. I don't want to hold y'all up too much longer because I can be a goofball, man. If I get off topic and stuff, I'm trying to scour this fucking social. It's weird how you gotta like do so much, even like as bands and stuff. You have to be your social media director, your
Oh, yeah.
fucking manager,
It's a
your
lot.
fucking. At least you'll have an engineer on hand in the band. So, I just to ask a couple more questions. I see that. Well, I don't know. Y'all played the house stuff at the Goat that night, or was that y'all's equipment?
I don't remember.
I think it would have been. Oh, it was either y'all's or another band's.
Yeah. No, yeah, the goat doesn't have anything there. I think it was the
I played-
pauses stuff.
Yeah, we played on the
Yeah.
pauses.
Okay.
equipment.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask y'all because I saw that there was like minimal. I mean, y'all didn't have no big stacks or anything like that. I think Sky was playing his little floor pedal.
He plays through a pedal that he connects to a monitor. Basically.
Yeah, okay.
A floor monitor.
Like a head rush kind of thing or something, or
I'm not sure exactly what the pedal is. I haven't looked at it. I thought it was a Boss, but it's like way more advanced.
yeah, it's not that shit.
Yeah, no, it's
That
got
was given to me. I was trying it out, but
a screen and everything.
what is some gear that y'all have to have to like certain things to get y'all's tones and stuff?
Capo.
That's awesome.
Love it.
I saw that too. Like fucking put it on there. It's amazing how capo can change the whole sound, man.
I didn't know that it wasn't cool to use a capo until Colin told me that a couple months ago. So
But here we go.
Never go to a metal show and see someone using a capo.
I'm gonna fucking do it, man. I'm gonna start a band just to have a capo on a 7-string, man. Oh my goodness, this is original. That's so funny, man.
I don't know. Personally, I play bass and guitar through the same rig. It's a Fender Bandmaster Blackface from the 70s
Mm-hmm.
and a PV610 cabinet that has metal cap speakers from the 70s also. So like I was saying, I got really into the tones from the 70s. I found an amp that did it. all in one piece.
It's like a real dry, crunchy kind of tone.
It is dry. There's no reverb on it,
Mhm.
so I mean everything you want to add is pedals. But again, got really into analog pedals too. So that's
Yeah, I love that kind of like just pure sound to where you can add something to it. It doesn't take away from the sound. And like y'all's sound that night, and it's the vocals and the drums really just punch through. And I think that's what the loudest parts were for me. And don't get me wrong,
That was good. I think that's kind of the goal. I feel like every time I hear back videos where it's the vocals and the drums are loudest, I'm like, okay, that's cool as fuck. I like that.
I mean the guitars wasn't lost at all. And I don't know the bass player that played that.
Oh yeah,
night.
my friend Jack. Yeah, a friend from New York. He was visiting and just like guest bassist
A
spot.
guest basis. Yeah, you had the night off.
he was in the
saw-
music video, so
Okay.
he
He
came
was-
down for that.
Okay.
Also,
Yes,
Um,
music video. Oh, we should talk about the music video.
yeah, there we go. Let's hear about the music video.
you heard the
Shout
song
out
at the
Coastal.
beginning of the show.
What'd you say?
So you heard the song at the beginning of the show.
Yes. So
That's it.
yeah, so we shot a music video. I asked Taylor. I used to work with Taylor in our day jobs, in like the nonprofit sector, and he would do all their for this nonprofit. He did all their like marketing and design and videos and stuff, and it was always really good. And so then like we reconnected recently, and I was like, hey, would you shoot a music video? Like you seem really good at that kind of thing. And he was like, I mean, I've never done that before, but I'm down. So that's like, yeah, I think I found what's really cool in the community is like there are a lot of people who are like, your stuff is awesome. This is cool. We're on the same page musically. Like, I don't need you to pay me a bunch of money. Like, let's collaborate. And Taylor was one of those people. So, yeah, so we shot the music video at the Goat and Santos. We still have a little bit more to shoot, but otherwise it's in editing process, and we'll probably release it like next month, hopefully.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some of the like B-rolls and stuff that y'all had posted on Instagram. Looked like a fun time.
Yeah, it was fun. And we have Amelia, my friend Amelia, she goes by Miss Morning. She's a singer-songwriter too, and also a dancer, so we have her in the music video dancing, which is cool.
It was cool that y'all did the like went to the Goat and Santos to do.
Yeah, and that's the
That,
other
I
thing. Like
mean-
people are, these venues also were like, they weren't like, okay, but it's like gonna be $500 a day or anything like that. They were just like, sure, we'd love to come in and like support. We'd love to support. So come on in and like do this, and that was super cool.
That's
Like,
pretty original though. I usually you got like the people in the cemetery doing the fucking video shoot, or like some kind of abandoned cabin or something with some blood and shit. But I mean it's hard to see. I think I don't see that a lot. Usually it's like some kind of stage thing, and I think was that y'all's vision to do that, or was Taylor part of that kind of like vision, I guess, for the video? Or
yeah, so Taylor and I met up and I gave him like my ideas, the concept, and we just kind of brainstormed. And yeah, so at this point, I don't know what was him and what was me, but it was definitely, yeah, collaboration of creative decisions.
that guy gave me a big old hug last night, and he was like, "You made it." I was like, "Yes, man. I was gonna fucking be here, man. I'm always here." But yeah, he's a real good guy. He does a lot of great photography for sure for NOLA DMB. Last night he was at fucking Flash, never stopped last night except for when he was spinning. But yeah, I'd like to work with him too, man, just because of and I kind of mentioned it before the show about certain things with egos and stuff like that. And to kind of get back to what you were saying with like the venues not charging, or even the people that you're working with, I think a good thriving scene is what happens behind the scenes. A lot of people just see kind of like a finished product on stage, and but I mean, the people that you interact with and make connections with and stuff, and like doing the music video, I don't know, like, financially or whatever, what that might have cost, but, meeting people that's willing to help out and do it for, any kind of, I guess, non-expensive, way. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that contributes a lot to the music and the bands that's, putting out the, I mean, some bands can't afford a fucking music video. Sometimes that shit's expensive. I did a music video for some rap artists a few weeks ago, and it was just because they were my fucking homies, and shit, we sat out there. It was like 3 hours in the ghetto, man. It was hot as fuck, and but we got it done, and it was me and my other guy, Levy, and but I just think making those connections, and when you mentioned, Taylor doing the video, I was like, hold on, man. I see this fucking guy doing drum and bass all the time. Where was the connection at? And it's cool that y'all. It's a small world.
Yeah.
But I like how the people that doesn't have those kinds of issues, socially, to where, people can work with you and, not have any bad things to say about another person or anything like that. And I think just the cooperation of, doing what you like and putting out a finished product and stuff, I think it means a lot to the artist and whoever is producing the final cut. I don't know. It just makes the scene thrive a little better to me. I mean, it's just, I don't know. That goes back to who shows up to the shows and, the support that you get out there and stuff like that. It kind of gives you more of a purpose and a reason to put out whatever, best that you can, put out there, and be inspired to be original. I don't know. How can some of the listeners support you and your work? Tell us your socials.
Mars and Other Planets on Instagram, and Spotify and everywhere else. I don't know. Stream our music. Come to our shows. I think like that's what I want most is people to turn out to shows and have a good time and feel like they can like let loose for a night and listen to someone sing about scissoring and shit.
You
and,
did have some
like,
interesting names for for the songs, and scissoring.
like
Y'all got to
seriously,
come to a
though?
fucking show, man. It was a blast.
No, but like shout out to the like local scene, especially like the punk scene. Like they really make me feel like I can be my true self. Like I used to be a teacher, and like there's so many restrictions on who you can be when you're a teacher because you have to like, everything has to be appropriate for kids. And when you go home and live your own life, you still kind of feel like you can't really. And then for a while I was like working for a firm, like a for-profit company, and that also kind of confines you and like makes you have to act a certain way, certain like bullshit professionalism. And sorry, this is like fucking public, and I still work in that field. But anyway, but no, I feel like with music and in this scene, like I felt like finally, like, oh, I can actually just like be who I truly am and be myself. And so that's why I write songs about like, I don't know, whatever gets me going, like scissoring.
That
fucking gets
that's
me
the
going,
point.
man. So,
That is
like,
the
here's a
fucking
song
point.
about
Yeah.
it.
If people can't understand, then fucking change the channel, man. Yeah, I don't like conformatism and being, restrained and confined and shit. And I like socializing with people that are themselves. You
Yeah.
know, and some things nowadays people judge and without even knowing, or they have an opinion that they don't consider another person's opinion or emotions behind it. But me personally, I respect everybody's way of doing their thing just because of that. But whether or not I agree with it, that's a whole nother thing. But that's irrelevant. I think that people should be themselves, and if you can't be yourself, then what's the fucking point? I mean, I'm not here to to base judgment or cast judgment or bash or anything like that, because fuck, I want to be myself also. And
Yeah.
I've learned that in the last. I recently just got a job about 2 months ago, and I took a 7-month vacation. Damn, I wish I wouldn't apply for that fucking job, but now I got to work again. But I'd like I fucking soul searched, and that's exactly what I came up with. You know, it's like fuck trying to be a certain way. Just just be yourself, and you get a lot more done. And a lot more people respect that. I've met a lot of fake people, and usually they don't book a show. So on the podcast. So thanks. But so scissoring. I do want to thank y'all for coming on again.
Yeah, this
Hopefully
was
this has been cool for y'all. Usually I'm a little more into it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I'm out of it, but I think this was great having y'all on. I'm kind of hungover, kind of to be honest with y'all.
Heard
Fuck.
that.
When y'all said you wanted to be on the show and y'all booked it, I was really excited because I like having a versatile kind of thing. I don't even know what the audience that listens to this or anything, but I think a lot of it might have had dropped because I used to do a lot of hard rock and hardcore interviews, and like I got bored with that shit, man. It's like I mean it's the same old kind of thing, and talking about that scene, and I'm telling you, sub scenes, that's definitely going to be a segment. I'm like brainstorming on that now, but I enjoy having a smoother conversation, and not I don't know. Y'all definitely like
women.
I mean,
with the pause, it was real cool too. After they ran into the fucking ditch and we like broke the ice before because it was funny too because it was like I heard the doors close and I'm like standing at the door. I'm like, open the door. And I was like, what the fuck is this, man? Their fucking car was hanging out the ditch.
Oh no.
They were both sitting out there. I was like, what do we do, man? But anyway, I was
arrived that way.
yeah, I walked out there. I was like, I said, looks like we got ourselves a conundrum, guys. I said, hey, I'm Brian with Local Riffs. They're fucking the car's hanging. I was like, well, this is a perfect icebreaker right here, man. It was like, but anyway, and like I've had the last 2 episodes was cloud rap, and then it was like the pause was before then, and I've had some DJs on and some call-ins from other bands. I just like keeping it like really versatile, where I'm not confined to a certain kind of way of being, because I'm not a certain way every day. I mean, I'm the same every day, but my moods change too. And it all comes like with the music. Listening to y'all's music, listening to different different artists and stuff like that. It just plays into part what I like to, do in my life. Really, we're probably going to go to Bullshit Machine. I can probably tell. We'll probably at least start there tonight. So, oh, these fucking pies. Yeah, so your socials, Mars and Other Planets. Check them out on Spotify. If y'all want to hear some real raunchy, edgy, clean, tight, and loud and great.
Cool. I like those
Music.
descriptions. I'll take them.
I don't know. Raunchy isn't a good way. Just let you know. I don't know. It was real gritty. I'm glad y'all played. I'm glad I saw y'all at the Goat instead of
Me too.
somewhere else, because that was definitely the place for that show.
I feel like we're our true selves at the Goat.
I
in
agree
ways.
wholeheartedly.
you
We're in
said
our
play the
true
Goat
I'm like,
every day.
I don't know. I should move there. In there. I feel like I need to live there. It's like where I'm meant to be.
It's like, Matt, we need to rent a booth.
Like, okay, we did the music video. Next step, we're moving in.
Well, thanks again for coming on. And y'all are more than welcome on any time. And if y'all ever, any shows y'all have, let me know, post it up. And like I said, hopefully we can come out there and check it out and, get some footage. I love, showing other people, what they're missing. They should have been there. Fuck. But yep, we get the pizza toppings for sure. See, I knew I wasn't going to forget that one. But thanks again for coming on. I guess we can go ahead and end it now. Y'all,
Thanks, Brian.
y'all have anything else y'all want to say? I mean, any about y'all's stuff in New York or?
Yeah, we don't really have details yet. I don't have any shows to promote because we're trying to take a little breather to
Oh yeah,
like,
you told me that the last time when I talked
yeah,
about. Yep.
just we have some new songs we want to work out and like just want to practice and focus a little more on recording. But we'll probably be back out there next month. So
That's not a long.
It's
I
not a
know.
hiatus.
It's really, it's really not.
In
It's-
our world, it feels like a very long time.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again. This has been Brian with Local Riffs, Mars and Other Planets. Check it out. Check them out on all platforms. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Cool. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Suddenly